Next bill under consideration is Senate Bill 2278. Senator Fiebiger.
Mr. President, Senate Bill 2278 is a bill to amend sections of the North Dakota Century Code relating to sexual orientation. The first amendments at page 1 reference the additional statutes that are affected by the amendments. Page 3, line 19 after 10 provides for the inclusion of a definition of gender identity in the definitional section of the bill. The next several amendments up to page 4, line 25 relate to amendments to change numbering because of the definition inclusion. At page 4, line 26, under the definition of sexual orientation, the words "or expression" are removed after gender identity. The next changes at page 5 separates out the employer's discriminatory practices provision of North Dakota Century Code 1402.403 to number what practices constitute a discriminatory practice. The above amendments are tied to the next amendment at page 5 after line 19, where there is an amendment added to recognize the First Amendment rights of religious organizations, associations, societies, nonprofit institutions, or organizations operated, supervised, or controlled by or in conjunction with a religious organization or society from establishing any qualifications or hiring criteria for employees and volunteers in religious positions. 4B is added to provide that this chapter of the code does not prohibit a religious organization, association, or society from limiting employment of volunteers in non-religious positions to individuals who are of the same religion or who adhere to the religion's tenets, unless the membership is restricted because of race, color, or national origin. 4C is added to provide that the chapter of the code does not prohibit a religious organization from limiting access or admission to its places of worship or its parochial schools to individuals of the same religion or who adhere to the religion's tenets. And at page 6, after line 15, section 7 amends section 1402.408 of the code and adds sexual orientation to make it consistent with the section as it relates to qualifications based on religion, sex, national origin, physical or mental disability, or marital status. This means that, notwithstanding the non-discrimination provisions of the earlier statutes in this section, it is not a discriminatory practice for an employer to fail or refuse to hire and employ an individual for a position or to discharge an individual from a position, or for an employment agency or labor organization to fail or refuse to refer an individual for employment on the basis of their sexual orientation. In those circumstances where sexual orientation is a bona fide occupational qualification reasonably necessary to the normal operation of that particular business or enterprise. And there are also amendments, Mr. President, recommended by the Insurance Department to keep our insurance statutes consistent in this area of non-discrimination in insurance. Briefly, the first change inserts section 20 and relates to unfair claim settlement practices that includes refusing to insure risks solely because of race, color, creed, sex, sexual orientation, or national origin. The amendments also include section 21 that prohibits an insurer or insurance producer from declining or terminating a commercial insurance policy solely upon the sexual orientation of the applicant or named insured, but does not prohibit rating differentials based upon age, sex, or marital status. And the last insurance-related amendment, section 22, prohibits an insurer or insurance producer from declining or terminating a property insurance policy based upon sexual orientation, making it consistent with the current insurance provisions. Mr. President, your Senate Judiciary Committee voted unanimously to adopt these amendments and request the full Senate's concurrence. And Mr. President, I would request a verification vote on the proposed amendments.
We will take a verification vote on the proposed amendments. Is there any further discussion? Question will be on the proposed amendment to Senate Bill 2278. Secretary will open the key and you may cast your vote. Secretary will close the key. Tally shows 42 yes, 4 no. The amendments are adopted.